This week on the number of arrests made this year for terrorism-related offences. The total number is 315, of which 50 were women. It is a significant increase. Last year, 21 women were arrested, so the current figures are more than double. Well, Dr. Z McDonald is one of the founders of ConnectJustice, an organisation which conducts research on this kind of issue. Her academic work is on women and Islam. Laura, how surprised were you by this significant rise in numbers?
Good morning, Jenny. I don't think I was that surprised, really. I think one of the stereotypes of women across the world has always been, we're peaceful and harmless and meek. But women have always joined violent movements, and now is a time where access to violent movements is increasingly easy.
What do we know about what kind of crimes they've been accused of?
Well, there's a whole range. The figures that you're talking about are arrests, so not all of those people will have been charged. And there's a whole range of not necessarily going to pick up arms, but travelling with family, going to join people, a whole range of different issues. So we have to be careful with the actual statistics themselves.
How are women being drawn in?
Again, it's important that we keep this nuanced. There's a whole idea of, again, jihadi brides and headline-grabbing attention, but really we see a whole range of reasons. It can be for a sense of higher purpose, it can be around adventure, glamour, rebellion, sisterhood. There's a whole range of issues depending on the actual individual who has made that decision to go.
But to what extent do they expect to be fighters? I mean, I've seen some of the propaganda that's put out by IS, and you see women holding a Kalashnikov.
Yeah, that's quite interesting because if we're specifically talking about ISIS, there are lots of women posing in front of, BMWs and holding the Kalashnikovs, but there's a minimal fighting. I think ISIS is interesting because it sees itself as more than just boys with guns. It wants to enforce its kind of totalitarian colonising, and it needs women to do that. It needs women to build families, to build its own society. It needs women to run their morality police brigades. They have specific women brigades. They have, they need female doctors. So because they got this larger plan that groups such as Al-Qaeda didn't, that women are important to them. And there's also other movements such as the PKK, who have a history and a long tradition of women fighting alongside men. So it's not just ISIS that's attracting people.
So how are women attracted to those other groups than IS?
So, for example, there was a young woman, an 18-year-old, recently convicted, I think last week or the week before, in the UK, and she was wanting to join the PKK, the Kurdish group, and a lot of her inspiration appeared to be around the vision of the female warrior. She'd visited graves of women who died for the cause. She had posters. This was something very inspiring on that kind of warrior level. And that may well be the case for some women travelling to ISIS, but there's that wider thing that fits. And that's what's interesting as well. It sucks in a whole range of people with different interests and different desires in why they want to join.
We do know an awful lot about the way a group like IS uses women, I mean, in the most repressive way possible. Why are the women who are wanting to contribute to it not put off by that knowledge?
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating, and I think that says a lot about the mindset once you're in that radicalised groupthink mentality. And there's a lot of black and white thinking and a lot of the us and them. So in the same way as men can suddenly dehumanise whole swathes of other human beings, so can women. So we see, the plight of Yazidi women or the local people in Syria and Iraq who haven't got an appetite for this kind of totalitarianism, yet the selling point, the propaganda, which is slick and attractive and easy on social media, and you can jump on a plane. There are a whole host of ways that you can become you're a superior person, you're joining a higher purpose, you're part of a sisterhood, a part of a bigger project, and quite frankly, other people and their experiences don't really matter if you're in that mindset and in that groupthink.
You've talked to women who have got away from it. They've been there and now they've got away. What prompts them to get away?
It can be a whole host of reasons again, but often it's the reality, and it's the same for men as well. When you have been sold a particular vision and you get there and it's not like that, then that can be quite shattering. The utopian ideal, the idea that everybody is working towards things is shattered, and the reality of a war zone is really not the same as suburban Britain or other countries around the world. So that's often a case. The problem with ISIS in particular is that once you're there, it's very difficult to escape, and people are tortured and killed trying to leave. So that's something that's, if people do leave, they're very lucky indeed.
Dr. Laura McDonald, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, we had a huge reaction from you to our feature on the Cornish